You are now about to witness the strength of street knowledge.
All right. How y'all doing? I hope everything sounds good. Hope everything looks good. I'm trying something different today. Uh, I'm not streaming through StreamYard. I'm just going straight from my OBS. This is the first time I've done this. Well, maybe the second time I've done this. I don't know. Uh, I got my phone over here in case somebody sends a live chat. I tried to put the live chat doc up here so I could see. So if you send a message and I don't think I'm ignoring you, I'm trying something new. But anyway, this is part 2 of the Rise of the Fall episode 2 2005. The reason why I'm doing this is because please forgive me for my disheveledness. I was doing some yard work today, and that's right. I'm out there cutting grass in the middle of February. That's just the way it is right now. And I was thinking, I'm like, I really, really need to hang on just a second. Oh, okay, good. I got sound. I was checking my sound via my phone. I apologize for that. Again, like I said, I'm just trying something new, deal with it. So anyway, I was sitting there doing yard work, cutting some grass. It's a beautiful day down here in South Louisiana. And I was thinking, really didn't really end the show Monday night. We kind of left some things hanging. I felt like we were just doing it a disservice. So I'm like, I'm not blaming Cuban. Not blaming Cuban. And Cuban, I figured you were kind of poking with Coop. I wasn't trying to insinuate that you were mad at him, but Cuban came on and we started talking and we all started doing our thing, and then we just kind of, kind of went from there and kind of glossed over the Peach Bowl stuff. Hey, what's up, Phil? I don't know why. I guess it's not sending my chat. I guess I might have to try something else. Anyway, so I'm like, we really, really need to discuss. We really didn't talk much about the Virginia game at the end of the season, and then the Peach Bowl, and then final season stats. And I felt like I really needed to do that. I kind of left it hanging. I didn't really give it 100%, so to speak. So, we left off. Basically, we were talking forever about the Georgia Tech game. And Didn't get into the Virginia game. So it's going to probably be boring. This ain't going to be, I'm just going to give you some numbers, kind of tell you what happened. But so the next week after Georgia Tech, your number 10 Miami Hurricanes took on Virginia at the Orange Bowl. It was a classic Virginia Miami game. It was nip and tuck, back and forth, back and forth. Miami finally did win the game 25-17. Virginia did score a last second. I say last second. They did score a touchdown with like 27 seconds left. So it wasn't really a big blowout. You know what I mean? But they did pull it out. Oh, bear with me. I want to make sure I see the chat. But anyway. Patience. It's $1.25 tree production here, okay? All right, here we go. So looking at the stats of the game, Miami had 20 first downs, Virginia had 17. Miami had about 151 yards rushing, 248 yards passing. It looks like Kyle Wright went 23 of 30. Not bad. Didn't have any touchdowns. Total yards was like 400 yards, 399 for Miami. But Virginia had 111 yards rushing, 296 yards passing. They ended up outgaining Miami in total yards on offense, 407. So they outdid them by about 5-6 yards. But still, it was, shoot, I didn't even look to see what their hang on, let me, I didn't even see what their record was. Okay, so they were 7-4 coming into that game, and 3-4 in conference. Of course, Miami was coming into the game 8-3, 5-2 in conference. They had lost to Georgia Tech the week before, and I would like to say the game was that close because it was Miami, Virginia. But I really believe that Miami had their cage rattled against Georgia Tech. They blew a chance at winning the Coastal of the ACC and going to the first inaugural championship game where they could have played Florida State. They could have probably had a good chance at winning. I don't know. But I think that Georgia Tech game, in my opinion, I said in 2004 that North Carolina game kind of started it. But the Georgia Tech game from 2005, that actually that was the catalyst, in my opinion. That pushed the dominoes. And it all went downhill from there. They never really could recover. So, yeah, the Virginia game, 25-17, it wasn't real glamorous. So Miami end up going to the Peach Bowl, where they play LSU. I think Miami was 9-2. Miami was 9-2, and LSU was 10-2. I don't know how that worked out, but it was something like that. Anyway, well, hang on, let me see something. Yeah, I got all my ducks in a row this afternoon, don't I? So, yeah, that's it. Yeah, they had 12 regular games. So, I remember this game really well because it kind of hit home. honestly, it was kind of one of those games, the Peach Bowl. It was kind of like nobody really, at least around here, none of the LSU fans really thought they had a chance. Uh, I thought it was gonna, like I said, I thought it was gonna be like a 10-3, 17-14 game. I didn't really think either offense was going to be able to do much against the other defense, you know. But man, was I wrong. So basically, in a nutshell, you had your number 9 Miami Hurricanes against number 10 LSU. So it should have been pretty even. So, and I'm getting a lot. I'm getting my information from the recommended reading list. I'm reading the 05 season recap in the 2006 football media guide. So if you have it, you can feel free to read along. But I'm just gonna kind of hit some highlights. Basically, what it was, Matt Flynn was making his first start. Now Miami did lose the game 40-3. I mean, Miami jumped up 3-0 on a field goal in the first quarter. But then that was it. Miami got a field goal with about 8:45 in the first, and that was it. That was it. This was actually the worst bowl game loss for Miami since the Fiesta Bowl in 94 against Arizona after the 93 season. I remember that. I remember that day very well. I mean, after all the Bacardi I drank, I'm surprised I remembered. But yes, I remembered. That was a bad game. It was bad. I mean, let me give you some of the stats and prove to you how bad it was. Because actually, I was actually at work that night, and I was sitting there listening to it on the radio with some other LSU fans, and you know, at first they were like, ha ha ha. Then they started feeling bad for me. They're like, oh man. But it is what it is. So these numbers here are crazy. And then when I get to the end of the year stats, it's going to be even crazier. So check this out. Oh, I guess I could move this over. No, I don't want that. I want this over here because I don't need to see myself on camera. This way I can kind of act like I'm looking at the camera. So first downs. All right, first downs. Miami had 6. LSU had 26. Wow. I mean, because if we go back to the Georgia Tech game, all right, the Georgia Tech game, at least Miami got 11 out of that. All right. It gets better. Miami had 53 yards rushing on 23 attempts. The leading rusher was Charlie Jones with 50 yards rushing. LSU had 56 attempts, 56 rushes for 272 yards. Yeah. Passing. Kyle Wright was 10 of 21 for 100 yards. No interceptions. So that's good. Like Kirby Freeman was he got in the mix. And Kirby Freeman was 0 of 2 with an interception. Yeah. And of course with LSU, Flynn was 13 of 22 for 196. So yeah, they just ran all over us. big time. Total offense. I hope I'm not coming in too hot. I apologize if I am. Make it a little turn that knob a little bit. All right, so total offense. We have to do this. We have to, no matter how bad history may be, we have to discuss it. Miami ran 46 offensive plays for 153 yards. LSU ran 78 plays for 468 yards. Yeah. What else did we have happen? Anything else jump out? Well, Miami punted the ball 43 times. LSU punted it once. Now, and this is one thing that has plagued Miami year after year after year. Third down conversions. Miami was 1 of 12 on third down conversion. LSU was 1 of 2. I mean, when you run 78 offensive plays, all right, and you only have 2. No. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I was wrong. That was fourth down conversions. Okay. Third down conversions, LSU was 9 of 17. Okay, I was about to say, I knew it was bad, but it wasn't that bad. So I'm sorry. Miami was 1 of 12. LSU was 9 of 17. So that sounds better. Fourth down conversions, Miami didn't make was 0 for 1, LSU 1 for 2. So I got a little ahead of myself there. Sorry about that. But the positive is both teams had, when they were in the red zone, they scored. The only thing is, Miami only had a field goal. LSU was in the red zone 7 times and scored 7 times. I think what happened was LSU just come out and just, exploited Miami's defense. Plus, Miami was still reeling over that Georgia Tech game. Because, the defense had been playing lights out all season except for the Florida State. Well, they did do good in the Florida State game. But I guess they just come out and said, screw it. It was over. So I told you about the rushing. Like I said, Charlie Jones had 50 yards. I think everybody on LSU's team had some rushing yards. I'm not going through it. Receiving, Quantre Hill had 36 yards receiving. Hester had 40 yards receiving. Sonoris had 10. Ortega 12. Lance Leggett 2. And also, speaking of Devin Hester, our good friends down at bottom of the map, Israel, put a video out yesterday. Was it yesterday? Or it might have been late Monday night. Anyway. Israel did a video on some Miami highlights of Andre Johnson and Devin Hester. Kind of giving those guys some love for making it to the Hall of Fame. And I made a comment on Israel's video. I said, to me, Andre Johnson was a beast. He really was. He was a complete receiver. Hester, after the 2004 season, really, it's like the coaching staff just relied on his return skills. I really believe Hester should have been utilized a lot better in the offense or defense. I'm not saying the young man had to be on the field, every play, but get them involved, with something. But yeah. All right. So after all that, Miami ended up going 9-3. Now, looking at this is something I really wanted to talk about. I had to go through the LSU game, no matter how much it hurt. But I wanted to get to this because you got to realize that woulda, coulda, shoulda. And I don't want to live in the world of ifs, and don't want to sit here and say, well, if this with this, if this, they would have been, and Cuban talked about if Miami would have won, they probably could have played in the national championship. I don't know. Very well. They very well could have. But they didn't. And I believe that Georgia Tech game just totally, that just did it. So, wait a minute. I need to pull up. Where is it at? Here it is. Yeah, I went through all of that. Let's see. Oh, yeah, and Kyle Wright was sacked 4 times in that game against LSU. There was something. I wanted to see, because there was some very interesting stuff. I think it's in this media guide here. I'm not going to go through all these people's stats and stuff. Okay, here it is. The highest point total Miami had in 05 was 52 against Duke. The lowest was 3 against LSU. First downs, they had 27 high against Duke. The lowest output of first downs was against LSU at 6. Total offensive yards. Okay. They did 557 total yards against Duke. They only did 153 against LSU. You see where I'm going with this? They had 80 plays against Duke was the high. The low was 46 against LSU. This is for the whole season now. This isn't I'm not just picking on the Peach Bowl. This is the whole season, including the Peach Bowl. Rushing attempts. They had 52 rushing attempts against Clemson. Only 23 against LSU. Oh, that's pretty crazy. Now, on the flip side, the most points given up by the defense in 05 was 40 by LSU. The highest number of first downs the defense gave was 26 against LSU. The most offensive yards per total offense in a game given up by the defense was 468 to LSU. Now, Wake Forest had 79 offensive plays against the defense in one game. I would have never figured that, but they still beat them. All right. The most rushing attempts against the defense was LSU. The highest yards of rushing, the most yards the defense gave up in rushing in one game was 272 to LSU. But remember, earlier in the season, Miami was number 5. Virginia Tech was 3. They went to Virginia Tech and held Virginia Tech to only 77 total yards. Held Virginia Tech to 77 total rushing yards. I mean, you tell me, how did this team, this defense that played the way they did against Virginia Tech and Marcus Vick, held Virginia Tech to 77 yards, but by the time you get to the Peach Bowl, they give up 272 rushing. It's that Georgia Tech game, dude. I'm telling you. I just wanted to show. Well, I'm looking for anything as far as Georgia Tech did. I just want to make sure. No. I don't really see Georgia Tech. I just want to see if Georgia Tech actually did anything that, you know. So, no, not really. Not really. But I will say this, third down conversions. Again, the best third down conversion rate Miami's offense had in one game was 7 of 15, 46.7% third down conversion rate against Virginia Tech. That was the best. Out of all 12 games, that was their best, 7 out of 15 on third down. Their worst, well, believe it or not, their worst third down conversion rate was 1 of 14 against Colorado. I would have never thought that. But I mean, yeah. And which this is, I'm gonna go and look at all the total stats for the whole season, not just by game, but just the whole. And I'm not gonna do all of them. I'm just gonna kind of give you some highs and lows here. All right, so some good news. I'm going to give you some good news here. Now, as far as for the season, Miami outscored their opponents 325 to 171. All right, which breaks down to an average of 27 points for Miami and 14 points for the opponents. So basically, Miami was outscoring their opponents by 13. Okay. First downs, Miami got 217. The opponent had 194. Miami basically outrushed their opponents in 05. They outpassed. They had more passing yardage than their opponents. Total offense, Miami was 4,200 against the opponents was 3,200. So that's, 1,000 yards more total offense than their opponents. This is all combined stats. These are combined stats. Total plays for the year, Miami had 788. Their opponents had 828. So you could take that for what it was. Miami's average yard per play was 5.4. Their opponent was 3.9. It's kind of crazy for that to be. I mean, you're looking at what, 1.3 yard difference, But since Miami didn't do as many plays as the opponent, because Miami was averaging 353 yards a game. The defense averaged giving up only 270 yards a game. So, it's crazy. But one thing, I know this is getting boring, but it has to be said, the third down conversions. This has always been Miami's Achilles heel, third down conversions. That and the red zone. I do not have their I don't have their total amount of times in the red zone. I do have their scoring. Well, no, I take that back. I'll get to that in a second. So, third down conversion for the year. Miami was 51 out of 159 with a third down conversion percent of 32%. Miami was converting on third down 32% of the time. They had 159 third downs and only converted first down on 51 of those. You're not going to win very many games. I don't know how they won 9 games that year with those numbers. But then again, if you convert on first and second, but, third down conversion, you're not going to be successful. That will catch up. That'll catch up and bite you on the ass quick. Oh, now the defense did get 36 sacks for 248 yards. The offense gave up 36 sacks for 246 yards. So that's crazy. So as many sacks as they were getting, they were given the same amount. That is friggin' crazy. Miami had 41 touchdowns, giving up only 19 touchdowns. Okay, we're not going to get in all that. Looking at the score by quarters, Miami they outscored their opponents every quarter, including overtime. So that's not bad. So talk about the red zone. If this is correct, Miami was in the red zone 50 times and scored 41 times they were in there. So there were 41 scores out of 50 attempts in the red zone. 28 of those was touchdowns, 13 were field goals. So, but they had 3 turnovers, 1 missed field goal, 4 loss of downs, and the game ended. So when they were in the red zone, 3 turnovers in the red zone. That is crazy. Crazy. So anyway, that my friends is basically 2000. This is part 2. So that's basically 2005. Oh. Whoops, I don't want Instagram. I'm sorry, I hit Instagram thing by mistake. All right, so basically, just to recap 2005, Kyle Wright took over the helm. Okay. I'm going to pull this over here so I'm at least acting like I'm looking at you. Got to read the teleprompter. So Kyle Wright starts 2005. Comes in as says 05. So he came in as a freshman as the Gatorade Player of the Year, the USA Today parade. He had all the accolades. He was going to be the second coming of Ken Dorsey. Well, again, like I said, you had the debacle against Florida State, but then they bounced back against Clemson. Then Colorado, South Florida, they stayed in the top. Well, I take that back. I was going to say they stayed in the top 10, but they started at number 9, dropped to 13. All right, then they went to 12, 9. They started their climb back up very slowly. So they stayed around 9 and then 7 against Temple. And then they were at 6 against North Carolina. And then, the big number 5, Miami takes on number 3, Virginia Tech, which when they came out and did that, I'm like, you know what? This team may be legit. This defense may be legit. They may do something. They may make some noise because there was nobody else left on the schedule. But the Georgia Tech game, they just could not get things going. I'm telling you, Phil, I don't know if you're still here, but if anybody watching this later, go back and rewatch. Go and watch that 05 Georgia Tech game. Because I know everybody's seen the Georgia Tech game from 2023, this past season. Go watch that 05 Georgia Tech game. It is just crazy. There are some crazy similarities in that game. The only thing is Kyle Wright didn't throw into double and triple coverage until the end. He didn't see that safety coming down and that interception at the end of the game, and that lost it. But yeah, that Georgia Tech game just took the wind out of Miami sails in 2005. It did. It really did. And honestly, the sign of things to come. Now, as far as year-end awards for the ACC, Kyle Wright was tied with Drew Weatherford. Again, let me pull this over here so it looks like I'm looking in the camera and not looking off to the side. Kyle Wright tied Drew Weatherford from Florida State with 18 passing touchdowns. Tyrone Moss had 12 rushing touchdowns to lead the ACC. Which apparently just in total touchdowns, Tyrone Moss had 12. That led the whole ACC. That don't sound right. I can understand because Greg Carr had 9 receiving touchdowns for Florida State. That led the ACC. So, yeah, Tyrone Moss led the ACC in touchdowns with 12. That is crazy. Let's see. Is there anybody else from Miami that was an ACC leader for 05? No, I don't see anything. No. So yeah, that was basically it. Miami finished 2005 9-3 overall, 6-2 in conference. Of course, they finished second in the Coastal because they lost to Florida State and Georgia Tech. If they'd have beat Georgia Tech, they probably would have won the Coastal. But, the more I think about it, if Miami would have beat Georgia Tech in 05, would they have also beat Virginia? Something to think about. I don't know. That would have been crazy if they would have beat Georgia Tech and then lost to Virginia. Would they have completed the sweep of Georgia Tech and Virginia? I sure thought they would. I thought they would. All right, so that is the 2005 hurricane season. They started slow, finished bad. So just giving a little taste of 2006. I will probably do episode 3. I will probably do it next. I'm still up in the air if it's going to be Monday or Tuesday because I start back on my shift tomorrow. I got to have time to look at these games even though I really don't want to. So I'm probably It's going to be either next Monday or next Tuesday. It depends. Just stay alert, stay tuned. I'll let you know. I would really like to do it Monday, but I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to see, check out some of these highlights of these games because I really like to watch the highlights so I can be better informed because I don't want to sit here and just rattle off stats. I don't want to sit here and just read a media guide. I want to be able to have, good conversations and just give you my take because, like I said, a lot of this I have forgotten just because of time and I'm like old, but most of it I've just, in denial, subconsciously don't want to remember. You know what I mean? So, give you a little taste for next time. I do have a title. It will be called, it's episode 3, 2006, Coker's Last Stand. Because after that Peach Bowl debacle, there was like a fight in the tunnel because Miami players say that somebody took a game ball or they were just pissy because they got whooped, And as a result, Coker ended up firing some coaches. Because, they're not going to blame Larry Coker. It wasn't his fault. Sounds familiar. It was everybody else's fault. So we got some new coaching staffs. Matter of fact, I'll just tell you right now, in 2006, yeah, that was Coker's last stand. I believe got a new offensive coordinator, new quarterbacks coach, new offensive line coach, which was not Mario because, believe it or not, Mario was in his first year at FIU. That's right. The same FIU that had the brawl. Yeah, that was Mario's team. So, as a result, Miami did not play a top 10 team in 2006. The highest ranked team they played was the first game, which is another Labor Day debacle, against number 11 Florida State. Miami started the year at 12th. September 16th, they were down to 17th, and they never were ranked again. They had games against number 11 Florida State and then number 12 Louisville. At the time, 21 Georgia Tech, 23 Virginia Tech, 23 Maryland, 18 Boston College. So it was not a very difficult schedule in 2006. Okay. And they still finished. Where'd they finish? 7-6. Miami finished 7-6. I'm trying to get this media guide here. I need to see something. I'm looking. I just want to see what coaches I can think of right now off my head. Okay, so Rich Olson, Warner got fired from offensive coordinator. Rich Olson came in. Todd Berry was the quarterback's coach because Warner was both OC and quarterback coach. No. I'm sorry. I am mistakenly said, no, Mario was the offensive line coach in 06. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought he went to FIU that year. I was wrong. I was wrong. Mario was the offensive line coach in '06. Yeah, because Kehoe got fired. That's right. That's right. Of course, Randy Shannon was still defensive coordinator. Oh, I'd have to double check, but yeah. So Warner got fired, Kehoe got fired, and Soldinger got fired too. He was the running backs. I think he was the running backs coach. I'm not sure. I have to double check. Oh, because I remember he got both. I mean, because when they fired those two, I was like, what? Why did you fire them? Let me get my let's get my thing here. Where's the '05 guy? Here we go. All right. So the coaching staff for '05. Let me move this over here so I can compare notes. All right. Yeah, Kehoe got fired. I was correct. Don Soldinger was the running back and special teams coach. That's right. That's right. Because I those two, I remember when I'm like, why did you fire them? You know, those were two Miami guys, and Coker fired that ass. You know, but anyway, I'm not going to get into that. I mean, we'll get into that. I'll get my stuff together, and we'll go into that in the next episode, episode 3. But just to let you know, Mario has moved from tight ends coach to offensive line coach in 2006. And I'm not saying that to be funny. I'm just saying, you know, is what it is. And there were some other changes also, but Kehoe and Solinger was the two big ones. But anyway, so that's really it in a nutshell as 2005 goes. It was the start of something very ugly. So, and again, I appreciate it. Like I said, I wanted to do this part 2 because I felt like that we didn't, or at least I didn't really give the end of the season like we did in for the '04 at episode 1. I really didn't do the end of the season justice because we ended up talking with Cuban about racing and video games and stuff like that. And I think what it was is we were just trying to venture away from the heartache and horror that was the end of the 2005 season. But like I said, and I'm not shitting you, I'm being serious. It gets worse from here. There's a few little high spots, but it's gonna be a while before Miami gets 10 wins like they did in '03. Matter of fact, they went what 10-3, 10-2 in '03, and they didn't get another 10-win season until 2017 with Mark Richt. Yeah, 14 years, 13, 14 years. Crazy, crazy. But yeah, that's it. And again, Phil, I appreciate you stopping by and saying what's up. Looks like you got you a new little avatar for your YouTube thing there. That's pretty cool. But yeah, that's it. Probably Monday, maybe Tuesday. I may do it Tuesday because Monday I'm just not going because I get off Monday morning on nights and I just won't be able to have time to do anything to because I want to make sure I review everything properly between now and then. I want to make sure I have all my ducks in a row. I don't want to sit here and just go bye 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 bye. Well, blah, blah, blah. No, I want to give the numbers, the stats, you know, and then give you my opinion on what I saw. But I want to make sure that I'm able to get all the stats and stuff. Again, if anybody is watching this on a rewatch, the recommended reading list is collegepressbox.com. Has the media guides for Miami. Just navigate your way to the ACC, select Miami, scroll down. Next week we'll be on 2006. You can download the PDF. It's hell, you can download all of them except for 2011. You know, you can go all the way from like 2005 up to now. And it's some very interesting stuff. And of course also the video highlights on the YouTube. There's usually some around that you don't have to sit there and watch the whole game. But if you want to watch the whole 2 or 3 hour game, go ahead. I just really don't have time to watch all 11 or 12 full games, you know. So, but yeah, do yourself a favor, you know. And I actually encourage you to look at the media guides. I encourage you to watch the highlights, to where when we do have our next show, you can either, you know, chat, you know, hey, this so-and-so did this. You can make you some notes. And if you don't want to come on screen, that's cool. But you can help you interact. You know, I'm not saying you got to memorize it. No. You ain't got to memorize it. But, you know, I enjoy the interaction. You know, honestly, truth be told, as much as I enjoy and look forward to and anticipate, you know, having Shad, Cuban, Bryce when he can, you know, with those, you know, the guys who've been on, as much as I enjoy that and love it and love them guys and their perspectives, I'm equally as anxious to speak with folks who haven't engaged. And that's okay if you don't. I'm not saying you have to, you know, join in. No, I'm not saying that. But if you know, like Phil, I would love to have Phil come on and you know, chop it up with the big boys, because hey, I just provide the platform. You know, I don't when it comes to all these numbers and stats and knowledge and stuff, I'm not the man. I am nowhere near Shad's level or, you know, Cuban's level, but we all give our opinions, you know. But yeah, I would love to have, you know, Phil, have you come in, chat it up, get some exposure, get ready for Coop's live call-in shows later this year. You know, Bryce is he's our statistician, you know. I like to have Bryce chop it up a little bit. I don't know where Crip is. I guess I must have pissed him off, or maybe he just, I don't know. I hope I didn't piss him off. If I did, I apologize. But it's kind of hard to wrangle and corral all the personalities that we have, you know. Nothing wrong with it. It's just, you know. Workforce Freebie, I'd love to have him join in. And then even Katie Allman, the young lady, I would love to hear her chime in. She seems to have some pretty good perspective. What I'm getting at, I don't mean to single people out with their names. I'm just making chit chat here. You know, I would just love to have people if they want to. I mean, if you don't, that's fine. It's okay. If I sit here and talk to myself, that's fine. You know, and if everybody wants, if I got like 30 people trying to get in, that's fine too. You know, if I have, you know, if there's 15, 20 people in the backstage wanting to get on and I have to decide, okay, we're going to have to put a time limit. Everybody gets 5-10 minutes. Then I got to bring some. I hope we have that problem. I hope we have that problem, you know, But if not, that's okay. That's okay. Not everybody wants to come on live. They rather sit there and chat, and that's perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. It's no big deal. It's whatever is comfortable to you. All right. I probably should have let off with this, but I didn't. We're up to 60 subscribers. I think we were, and I must have pissed somebody off and we went down, but we're back up to 60 subscribers on the South Coast channel, South Coast Kane channel. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. I don't get anything out of it. I just enjoy the fellowship. That's all. Enjoy the fellowship. Also, if you noticed in the intro, in my new and improved intro that debuted earlier this week, I changed the U Fellowship logo. I know it's just the Miami U with the and Fellowship, but I mean, hey, it's $1.25 tree production. And one of these days, I need to go back and redo my intro with the storm and the letters because it's starting to get a little janky. But anyway, that's really all I have. Thank y'all so much for stopping by. Thank you so much for watching this, whether it be today, tonight, tomorrow, next week, 10 years from now, whatever. I appreciate you spending an hour here with me as I ramble on. But again, y'all make sure y'all check out that Check It Out corner. And see, that's another thing. I'd love for Israel and Ike to get on here. Because, man, if we could get Israel and Ike and Phil and Shad and Cuban and Crip and Bryce, we get all these personalities. Oh, my gosh, you talk about one hell of a discussion. And then Garrett with Kane's Cast. I don't know what his schedule's like. I love for Garrett to stop by and chomp it up one day, But I know everybody's busy. Everybody has a life. Not everybody can just drop everything and come to the YouTube. I know that. But I'm just saying, one of these days we need to get all these guys on here, especially Cajun Kane stopped by this earlier this week. It was good seeing him again. But Nitty G, the other guy, Concrete 1000, great guys. Love to have them. I would just like to hear their perspectives. I mean, you see it on the YouTube, but it's different when they're actually here talking with you. It's really cool. But anyway, okay, I'm done. Check out those channels and Check It Out corner. Y'all go give them some love. Tell somebody about it. But if you don't like them, that's fine too. Ooh, Sports Truth, Jordan Harris. That's a smooth talking dude, bro. He is, it's like professional over there. Concrete 1K, that's his name. Go check him out if you haven't already. If you have and you subscribe, thank you so. Oh, and don't forget about Truck and Chub Z. Truck and Chub Z every Saturday at 6:30 Eastern. Him and Shad chop it up. And they usually do it during the week too. But anyway, and also, please, if y'all know I say this every time, but in case somebody watches this who normally doesn't watch it and they've actually made it this far into the video, if you know of anybody out there, a channel with a smaller audience that you like, let us know. Tell us in the chat. Okay? Tell us in the chat. I'll give them a check, see what I think, and I'll more than likely put it on the Check It Out corner. I don't want to just put anybody up there because, you got to have that discernment filter. You know what I mean? But anyway, that's it. I'm out of here. As you know, I know my name's not up there, but if you don't know, ask somebody, or I'm going to tell you right now. I'm Jordan Page, South Coast Kane. This has been The Rise of the Fall, Episode 2, 2005, Kyle Wright to Miami, Part 2. And on that note, peace, love, and soul. It's always about the you. And we're going to catch y'all next time. Stay alert. Stay tuned. Stay beautiful. Bye.